The crew and an infant passenger of a medical helicopter are recovering after it crashed into a Philadelphia suburb. Nearly 30 firefighters and at least 7 medic units reported to the scene. Everyone on board was rescued with non-life-threatening injuries, and the child was rerouted to another hospital following the accident. NTSB is working to determine the cause of the crash.
Key leaders on the White House COVID task force were grilled on Capitol Hill on Tuesday, with senators highlighting confusion over face masks, quarantine times, and testing delays. Some exchanges getting heated, especially between Dr. Anthony Fauci and Kentucky Republican Rand Paul. The hearing comes in the middle of a devastating COVID surge in the U.S., fed by the fast-spreading Omicron variant.
Well, President Biden is making a big push for voting rights legislation. The president and vice president took to the stump in Georgia to call for the passage of 2 voting rights bills. In his speech, President Biden called for an end to the filibuster to pass those bills, and his new stance comes after 19 states passed new voting laws following the 2020 election. Laws that Democrats argue make it harder for people to vote, especially minorities and the poor.
Senate Democrats are under pressure to get voting rights legislation passed, with the next vote planned by next week, threatening to change Senate rules to pass voting rights measures with a simple majority. President Biden made his case directly to the American people Tuesday in Georgia, one of the first states to enact new restrictive laws. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest.
This morning, President Biden facing mounting pressure to deliver on a key policy priority, protecting the right to vote. He delivered an impassioned speech in Atlanta.
Will we choose democracy over autocracy, light over shadows, justice over injustice? I know where I stand.
But several key voting rights activists skipped the event. Some called an empty gesture.
This administration has given us there's no meat on the bone.
The head of the NAACP writing, quote, "It's time for this administration to match their words with actions." Passing federal voting rights legislation would require a controversial Senate rules change to overcome Republican opposition. The president, who previously opposed altering the filibuster rule, now changing course.
I support changing the Senate rules, whichever way they need to be changed to prevent a minority of senators from blocking action on voting rights.
President Biden arguing Congress must act to counter 19 states passing new laws following the 2020 election. The Democrats called deliberate voter suppression, especially for people of color. Republicans calling that fake hysteria and a power grab.
There is no widespread effort to suppress minority voting rights in America. This has nothing to do with this.
And Democrats may not have the votes to force through voting rights on their own. At least 2 moderate senators have spoken against changing the rules to get it done. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.